Everyone, this is Men's here. I'm going to be doing an overview of the Tier 10 Russian heavy tank, the IS-4, as you see at the end of this tank line. It's kind of glancing over the tanks leading up to it. KV-1, very solid, great tank, considered by many. And then you have the T-150, which is also a very good tank, basically similar to the KV-1, just upgrade it. KV-3, it's pretty slow, but still a very solid tank as far as armor and firepower goes. It's just very, very slow tank. KV-4, pretty much upgraded. KV-3, very slow, good armor, pretty good firepower. The main problem with the KV-4 is you have to grind out this top gun, which isn't really used on anything else. So that could be a problem. But moving on to ST-1, basically this tank is freaking awesome once you get it upgraded. Very good armor all around, good gun, very good gun depression for a Russian tank, very good tier 9. Some people consider it one of the better tier 9 heavy tanks along with the E-75 right now. And then you come to the IS-4, which leading up to it, it is a difficult grind getting into the KV-4 and ST-1 upgrading the guns. However, once you get to the IS-4, it can be considered a good reward. Basically, it boils down to what you're expecting out of this tank. Now, looking at the tank, you'll find that the front hull armor is actually thinner than the side hull armor, which is a little strange. And while the IS-4 does have pretty good armor, because the turret front, basically the turret's immune to most shots, unless if you give them very flat shots on your side or rear. It does have issues. The frontal glacis, while strong, isn't strong enough to bounce tier 10 shots unless if you angle it a bit or if they shoot at a bad angle. And the lower glacis is pretty weak as well. And that could be a problem because as you angle your frontal hull, it leaves your corners here, which are very strong. They're basically immune to everything from the front. Leaves them a little bit weaker, so you only can angle a little bit or else these drop below that immune effective armor level. And then sides, good hull armor on the sides. You really only have to worry about people shooting through your tracks where they're a little bit weaker because it's not angled. Now, the IS-4 is good at side scraping to an extent. Makes it a little bit difficult because as you see the turret's located in the front part of the tank, so you can't exactly side scrape as well as some tanks with their turret in the middle or rear, but it's still capable. You can always face backwards and make yourself kind of a rear turret tank, but it's a little difficult to pull off reliably. Now, gun depression, it does have 6 degrees of gun depression, which pretty standard for a Russian tank, but since the turret is in the front, it does make it a little easier to fight on hilly terrain than say if your turret was located in the middle. Now, the gun on the IS-4 is 122 millimeters, which gives it 440 damage per shot. Pretty good for a tier 10 heavy tank, higher than the American heavy tanks and other tanks with only around 400 alpha. Now, penetration, good, nothing to really stand out here. Has a very good heat shell, and its HE shell, you can deal with some of those pesky tier 8 light tanks with your HE shell, but overall HE, you're not really going to need many. I carry 2 just to reset caps or shoot people I know I can't penetrate even with heat, just to knock out their gun or something. Now, accuracy, where it becomes a little bit of a problem. 0.38 accuracy along with a aiming time rate around 3 seconds is a little bit of a negative, and your rate of fire does limit your DPM a bit. You're lower than a lot of other tier 10 tanks. Now, you do make up for your lower DPM, and while your armor is good all around, it's nothing that's going to be able to allow you to stand up to a lot of tier 10 tanks head on. You have to pull a little bit of tricks and also fall back on your 2,500 hit point pull, which is very good for a tier 10 tank. Now, other things such as mobility, your engine's not very strong for your weight, so you're not the fastest tank in the world. Your top speed's also capped a little lower than some other tanks, so even going downhill you're not going to move very quickly. And it's a little bit of a downer because the IS-4, I relate it to the T110E5 in a way that it's a generalist tank. It tries to do a lot of things, but it doesn't excel at anything. However, the IS-4, it focuses a little bit more on armor and hit points compared to the T110E5, which focuses more on its firepower and mobility. So it's really a trade-off. IS-4 more sturdy all around, but you do sacrifice a little bit. In the T110E5, its armor in the front can bounce a little bit more shots from tier 10s than the IS-4, as long as if the IS-4 isn't doing anything stupid, in which case sometimes you get lucky and people, even if you have this angled heavily, they won't know to shoot this, so you can get lucky, but most people do know to hit your side armor when you start angling a lot to make up for your weak upper glacis. Now as far as equipment goes, I keep a vertical stabilizer to help out with that poor accuracy, rammer to help with my reload time, ventilation to help with reload and other small areas. Now you can drop the vents if you'd like to get a toolbox if you don't have a good repair skill, heavy spall liner if you're worried about arty, but to me that's kind of a waste on the IS-4, or coated optics, save a little bit more view range. But to me, I'd rather have a little bit more in every little area, especially my reload and view range. So that just fits the way I play this tank. The way I play the IS-4 is you want to get up close personal to tanks because you do have good turret armor and you don't have to worry about your frontal glacis because it's not going to bounce too many shots from tier 10s, but you can bully tanks because you have a good hit point pool. Your gun hits a little bit harder than other tier 10s that have 390 damage or 400 damage per shot, and to me it makes up from your accuracy and aiming time being a little poor. Now you don't want to get too close to where you're just going to get chewed apart by tanks with more firepower than you, but it's still basically a tank where you're kind of forced to play a little closer than you would expect a tank that does have the weaknesses of not being able to outdamage its opponent. Alright, so wide open map here. At least there's no artillery. Now let's see what side I spawn on first. So I'm going to be heading over to the right side here. Don't really care about going to the left, mainly because they have those tank destroyers and very accurate mediums that can cut right through me. So I'm going to stick to going over this way, unless if people for whatever reason abandon the 1 and 2 line, which in that case I will then go over there. As you see, turning your hull doesn't turn very quickly, so you have to keep that in mind because when you're trying to weave in and out of spots, especially if you're going closer to your top speed, you're not really gonna be able to turn quick enough. Now it looks like our hill's gonna be pretty well off with those medium tanks going up there. I kind of want it to go up on the hill, mainly because when I peek over a hill, my turret's very strong, there's no artillery, and my upper glacis, people are going to be shooting up at it, so I'll keep a lot of the effective armor on it. So I'm hoping that since we have a lot of people going to the hill, I'm just going to kind of wait a minute to push up. I don't want to push up and have the enemy beat my team to the other side of the hill. But I'm hoping that since there's a lot of people on there, I'm going to be able to push up kind of where that T-54 is, and we'll be able to attack them from 2 different fronts. Okay, so mediums made it to a spot where they're a little better off. There's no artillery, so I'm a little bit safer with pushing over this way. Come on guys, push up. I don't know what the hell these people are waiting for. waiting for that IS-3 to get in my... But since there's no artillery, there's a little downslope here where you're kind of safe from tanks over this way. You just really have to be careful about tanks on the hill because they still can hit you very easily. Kind of hoping though. STB-1 not very accurate, and the IS-3 I can bounce his shots. I was kind of staying here until my team's able to move up and help me, but it's not looking so good for my team just yet because they're really getting chewed apart in the middle there. But just waiting for my team to actually move up, which might never happen. But let's just keep hoping. This STB-1, I know he doesn't have a lot of accuracy, so I'm able to exploit that. And I definitely want to keep my gun repaired. Come on, people. You gonna come up and help me? Or are you just gonna sit there and watch me freaking get shot at the entire match? I hate when you have a clear advantage and for whatever reason your team just wants to sit back there. But it's not like we're in a bad situation yet. But it would be nice if we get enough tanks over here to push. Here's that T-54, but I'm not going to be able to get him unless if he comes further towards me. So STB-1 I think did spot me. Kind of expecting him to push back out. But I'm just kind of wiggling because I know he doesn't have very good accuracy. IS-4, as I was kind of pointing out, doesn't have great armor, but I'm a little bit angled here, and he's not really able to hit my weakest armor because of his accuracy problems. But if these people would fucking move up, then I would actually do something. But I'm not able to do anything on my own. Got this E5 moving over towards me. Shit, the IS-7's making a break for it. I might be able to hit him. Oh. Worth a shot. Except for now this T-54 knows I took a shot. But at least he wasted a shell on me. But right now at far range my armor is decent. If I want to get closer to do damage I can do that, but I'm just kind of waiting for backup here. Hopefully we get that and we're not just gonna run into a gigantic wall of TDs back here. Which, there's a T-110E4. Lovely. Glad I had to move in front of this guy just because I have more HP. There's a T-54 here. Now, should be able to... There we go. Let's say I should be... Oh, shit. Sorry, dude. That was my bad. And once again, our people on the hill move back. And they're not really doing anything to help us out here. We're losing the other side, so... I hate to say it, but I actually have to start backing up now. Which the IS-4 isn't exactly great at backing up. Like, come on, people. You can do something here. Doesn't look like that guy's gonna get rammed. So let's turn around here. I'm gonna keep my gun facing this way, just in case if someone tries to push up behind me. Like this Leo here. Might be able to get him. Yep. But unfortunately, having all those people in the southeast corner is not really helping us out. And not to blame it all on them, but had they pushed up when I kept pinging them, we might have had a little bit better chance at doing something instead of let the enemy dictate the match. Ooh, thanks a lot, STB1. Forgot I had heat shells. I don't need them right now. Hello, and now being shot at by a lot of places. You know, the fun stuff. Not much I can do here rather than just kind of move back and prolong my life. Try to do a little bit more damage, but my ammo rack is damaged. Which you don't really see much in the IS-4. Usually your modules are pretty strong. You lose your driver from time to time, but you don't necessarily lose anything too important. Here's that STB1 again. Yeah, you do have us surrounded, but not just gonna give up. It's Lorraine here. He's... there we go. Yeah, I'm gonna take a shit ton of damage now. But at least I'm gonna block a lot of damage. So you do know, while I do say the IS-4's armor is pretty bad, that's just for the upper glaciers protecting against tier 10 shells. It is good all around, especially at farther ranges where people can't hit your weak spots. But you do have to... it's a tank where, since it is a generalist tank, you can basically put yourself in good spots to where you can leverage something and make it a strength. But you really have to balance, because far away your armor's good but your gun's a little worse off. But moving closer, your gun gets better because you can hit more things easier, but your armor gets a little worse. So overall, pretty good match. 3,037 damage, but in the end we still lost. I blocked 5,820 damage, and I spotted for 1,138 damage, which all in all, pretty good match on my part, but unfortunately I couldn't really do anything because I went on that side of the map and my team didn't want to push up with me. So let's hop into another battle here. Okay, Sand River Assault. Now, which side am I on? Be nice if... okay, I didn't want to be attacking. I like defending on this map. However, I'm most likely going to be starting this way. Going through here, you can get through there with fast tanks, but IS-4 is not exactly in that category. Just gonna give him a peek at where I'm going. Now, attacking on this map, usually the enemy focuses more on the 8-0 line, and they kind of pile in there heavy to defend. I kind of like going to 1-3 line because you have a little bit more open room from the enemy flag, and I just think it's a little bit easier, especially in a slower tank, which a lot of my team is actually going that way. Now, in a faster tank, you might be able to get over to the 8-0 line a little quicker to be able to not be pinned down. A lot of times you end up in F0 with a ton of enemies a little bit south of you that kind of pin you down in there, and if there's a lot of artillery, it really sucks and is hard pushing out of there. But yeah, unfortunately, a lot of our heavy tanks are heading up on top of the mountain. But I'm gonna enjoy myself over here. I have a Jagged Tiger to back me up. E5 as well, if he doesn't get any people flanking him, he should be pretty fine. Looks like artillery's supporting us too, so thank you very much. Now with that IS-7 here, I'm just gonna load a heat shell. Oh shit, there's an object. Didn't expect to see a medium there. Just back up so less people can hit me from that side. But just angle a little bit. So keep myself angled. Hopefully their artillery is not aiming at me. He might pop up right there. But most likely he's gonna hide. That E5 should uncover him though. Okay, and unfortunately I ran into the side with a ton of fucking enemies. But I might be... I almost got him. Hopefully they end up pushing pretty hard there. So keep a heat shell loaded, since there are a lot of freaking armored tanks here. I was kind of worried about that medium being down here. Unfortunately, I can't round the corner and take a pot shot on them from where they're located. T-32 I might, if he's gonna give me the chance to hit him. Come on. But while our team's doing pretty good on that side, I'm not gonna push it here. So I keep my presence here, so the enemy's not easily able to get away. There's that object, 907 again. It'd be very nice had I killed him, but can't get that lucky. Okay, he might decide to move, but should be able to take him out. That TD. Come on, I can't help you out right now. You're gonna have to... Crap. He's probably gonna... No, just a little bit more and I can get him. Good job though. Our team is doing pretty well though. With that medium out, I'm able to move a little further up. Let's get him something to shoot at here. It's most likely a T-95. Yep, he's still back there. I may do something a little different here. Just keep my frontal armor this way. I'm actually going to be backing towards the enemy here. aiming at my front, so I'm just going to keep myself angled. He's going to pick up a lot of speed here. However, there we go. Thank you. I just don't want that T-95 to think he's going to be able to push out and get a nice shot. So I'm just going to keep on backing up until I get over here to these TDs. Then I'm going to switch around. That way if I do take a shot, it's only going to be one shot in my butt. There he is. Let's just crap. Okay, T-95. Gonna come and play. Might be able to flank him. Especially if he's gonna push out. Should be able to... There we go. Good job. To whoever spotted him. Now I should have some good shots on him. It's all about slow and steady for some matches. Now it's only 3 minutes, so we do have to keep that in mind. So I'm gonna start playing a little bit more aggressively now. Shit, where did he come from? Forgot all about him. But he's not a huge concern. I'm gonna be able to round up here and get him out with the help of my TD friend. Possibly. Just keep myself angled. I'm gonna take a bit of damage here, unfortunately. Let's let him cover me up. There's our artillery though, which this medium, he's more of a concern for me. Let's just try to angle a little bit more. He's more of a threat. So that's why I am focusing more on him rather than the T-32. Just keep ahead of him. I'm not going to kill him, but at least I'm going to severely cripple him. Which, this guy is starting to get on my nerves. Come on, angle. Thank you. All we have left is 2 TDs we should be able to get. Don't know what his problem was. He did a good job helping me out here. Now he should be able to get this E3 out. I know he's capping, but at the same time, you're not going to be able to frickin' cap when there's tanks like that. Had he just went out, shot him before you tried, you should have just pulled out when he was trying to go over the hill and kill him. But all in all, we did a pretty good job as a team. We still have a decent shot at winning this. We just have to get a little lucky. But unfortunately, the time limit does come into play for assault. Yep, he got that. Now, I don't think we're going to be able to get him. Not much he can do, but yeah. Tried. So overall, a pretty decent match. Mastery badge first class. Got high caliber here. Damage wise, 5,279. Destroyed 1 tank. Decent amount of experience now. Wish we would have won. It was pretty close though, well fought on both sides. I still ended up blocking 2,240 damage and assisted with 1,298. Now I could have did something a little different and pushed where that T-32 was a little sooner, but all in all, you never know what is the right choice in a battle. So overall, the IS-4, pretty solid tank. Now getting to the IS-4 is a little difficult if you don't have guns unlocked, and especially with that KV-4. The Top Gun isn't used on anything else, but it is very good on the KV-4, and if you like gigantic, heavily armored tanks, KV-4 is a pretty fun tank to keep. But pretty much the line leading up to the IS-4, all solid tanks when upgraded. It's just a little hard to grind at times, unless if you're gonna have a lot of free experience. And leading and topping off at the IS-4, it's a pretty well rounded tank. It just doesn't really excel in any one area, but as you see, if you kind of take things slow, don't get yourself in any bad situations, you can play to your strengths, where you want to basically make your opponents go to where they're weakest. Like how I moved around that T-95 to draw him out. He wasn't able to actually round and kill me because he doesn't have a turret, he's slow, and he was being picked apart. But you just don't want to play to your opponent's strengths, because you will lose because you're not really good in any one area. But if you make your opponents play to your mediocrity, then you will find yourself doing pretty well in this tank. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out my website, wotguru.com.